It's Tuesday night, the 7th of April, and day 98 of Living the Dream. My power statement for today was, I'm going to record lesson 8. Well, this morning after sitting down to start to do my tool list, I decided to go ahead and play lesson 7's video and just get another real, okay, it's great. And horror of all horrors, I saw 2 slides with major glitches on them. Oh my goodness. Slide 10 and slide 14. I couldn't believe it. I don't know how I missed them, but there they were in stark contrast to all the other slides. Well, anyway, the bottom line was that I had to delete this published video lesson file and go back to the editable file of lesson 7 and fix those 2 slides with their glitches. And then I had to resave the file, publish it, and then upload it again onto my Google Drive. Well, when I went to open the saved editable file to do the fixes, it had changed to a read-only file once again when I published it. So I went to my do-it-yourself file folder and pulled out my notes. I wrote up on how to make a read-only PowerPoint file go back to an editable file. And that, my friends, I found to be easier said than done. I can't explain why, but following these steps I did when this happened the last time didn't work this time. So I tried every which way to try to make the file change back to an editable file. And to make it even worse, it was the only PowerPoint file of lesson 7 that I had, and it was uneditable. Oh my goodness. Well, needless to say, trying to fix this challenge took the entire day before I figured out how to change it back to an editable file once again. I finally closed everything out on my computer. I then rebooted my computer so I could have a fresh start to try everything again, and this time the steps worked. And the file was an editable PowerPoint file once again, and so I had an editable lesson 7 that I could work with and fix. But when I went in to fix slide 14, I could get the transitions working on my screen, but it wouldn't transition to the next slide. Over and over and over again. It would play and stop. It was the only slide out of the entire 18 slides of the video that wouldn't transition to the next slide. All of them worked, but that slide 14. I worked and I worked trying to do several things to get it to work. I even followed the steps I had in my DIY file folder regarding that very specific problem. And those steps didn't work either. I even rebooted my computer again and tried doing these steps again, and it didn't work over and over again. That's why it took the whole day. Then, out of the blue, blink, I had the thought come to me to simply save that slide over to a new file folder. Just start it with a whole new name and give it a brand new name, and then delete that bad file on lesson 7's 18 files. I delete it so it was only 17 slides now, and then I saved that file over to an old saved file with a whole different name. I then inserted a new slide into the slot of 14 that was not working, that I had cut away, and then I cut each piece of the single file I had saved over on its own and pasted each piece over to the new slide 14 that I inserted, and then I did all the animations for the slide as though I had never done them yet. And then the last step that I did was to add the vortex transition to that slide. I had saved the timing on it and just put that in and saved the total file, the whole 18 files again, into one file once more, and it worked. I also saved the same file in a different folder on my computer, giving it an even different name as well. And that was so if all of this did work and I was able to publish the file once again, and in doing so it made that file become a read-only file again, I'd still have the other editable file of lesson 7 available to work on if there was a problem in the future. Incredible, isn't it? Oh my goodness, what a process. The bottom line here is I once again was faced with the unexpected challenge of that I didn't expect, so that the law of the unexpected was certainly at work on this project. But because it was, I learned a ton of new steps of precaution that I'm now going to start doing with each of the remaining lesson recordings that I've still got to build out, and that's going to save me from losing additional days of work each time I need to build out and publish a video lesson, like I did today, and lost that day pretty much that it should have already been done, and it wasn't, so I'm going to stop that. Anyway, let's look at the to-do list I had for today that blew up on me. It was a very short one. Those 3 things, the top one was record lesson 8. Couldn't do that, moved that over to Wednesday. There you go. Because of today's fiasco, I put the task to record lesson 8 I had on my list over to tomorrow's to-do list. I got the other little things So I smashed it up. I like doing that, but it's not quite a done yet. And what's exciting about this challenge that I've had to go through today is that once I get lesson 8 recorded, built out, and published, I will have brought 75% of my total coaching package through the portal of my mind and into the world of the physical. And that's what I'm focusing on now. So bam, good job, done. In the past, I would have said about having this kind of a challenge, I can't believe it. But now I say, I always believe that all things are possible, especially for those who have big dreams and are willing to work hard and think and work smart to bring their dreams into the world of the physical. The fact is, when you think and speak this way, the law of attraction and the law of manifestation work like a charm, and you believe and begin to see piece by piece of your dream coming through the portal of your mind into the world of the physical, even things that I hadn't even thought of when I first started this journey to alignment. So thank you. I should say this. They were even working the law of manifestation and the law of attraction to the negative. We all are really good at manifestation. It's just how much of it's going to be negative. What are we going to attract? If we're not into thinking of abundance, we're into thinking of lack, and we attract lack. So we're always proving the law of attraction and the law of manifestation. We're not changing it. We're just confirming they're real. I wanted to confirm them in the positive. Okay, let's answer Corey's get honest with yourself questions now. What didn't go well today, Marty, or what could you have done better today? Did you wake up early and start strong? Check. Did you start your morning with power? Check. Were you productive throughout your day? On the negative challenge, absolutely. Got it done finally. Did you get the most important thing done? Yes, I did. Did you move your goals forward? Well, I couldn't have gone on with lesson 7 being the way it was. I did move it forward and fixed it, and we're on now. Going to start lesson 8 tomorrow. Did you move your goals forward? Did you show up as the person you wanted? Check. What about your personal time with Kathleen? Were you present? Tonight was a wonderful night. Finally had to relax and let it go and got it done and went down there and enjoyed a quiet time. It's nice to break away from these kind of busy, chaotic days. Now combine all these questions together and ask yourself this question. Were you honest with yourself about today's task, Marty? In other words, did you keep your commitments you made to yourself today? I have to tell you, last night I was so committed to getting up and getting after my list of to-dos today, especially my power statement task of recording lesson 8. I was so excited to get on with that. But like I said, as I sat down and watched that video lesson this morning, I had to make the decision to adjust my commitments and redirect my personal power of starting strong and choose to stay strong by attacking the new challenge at hand. And so, yes, I did indeed keep my commitments I made to myself this morning, even though I had to change them. Like I said yesterday, we often set goals and stretch our capacity a little, and just like a rubber band, which after being stretched, it shrinks back, but not to its original size. It ends up a little bigger, and sometimes even a lot bigger and stronger than before you stretched it. And that dynamic certainly happened to me today. I had to stretch my capacity to be positive to get this job done. And after doing so, I was a better man than I was yesterday, and I had greater knowledge than I had yesterday. I was even happier with the finished product than I was with yesterday's end product. In fact, I had a new and improved video lesson 7. Boom. Like I said, I came away from this unexpected challenge stronger than I was when I started the day. I ended up with more confidence in myself and in my problem-solving capacity. And my dream was even bigger and more exciting to me than it was before I stretched myself today. So yes, I was honest with myself and I kept the commitment I made to myself. The fact is, I'm a man of my word. So way to go, Marty. The next thing Croy asks is, what was the one thing out of all the things you did today, Marty, that you know you can improve on going forward? In other words, did you have or did you experience any failures today, Marty? And if so, what was is it something you can turn into a tool of success going forward? Well, I think I would have, it would have had and ended up being a failure today if I had allowed my thoughts to drag my mind to the lower ground of stinking thinking. Like, oh man, this again? Not this again. This is going to kill my day. I can't believe it. Not this darn transition problem again. It would have been so easy to give into thinking these kinds of thoughts and thinking in this negative way, especially when the DIYs didn't work this time around. It would have been so easy to say, now what am I going to do? I'm so in trouble. I have no idea what to do. I might as well give up. Why does this have to happen to me when everything's going so well? How am I going to do this? But I didn't succumb. Those are thoughts of defeatism and of stinking thinking. They're thoughts and words that speak into existence what I don't want to have happen. A successful business owner's mentality is one that produces thoughts of power, thoughts of possibilities, and thoughts of, you can do this, Marty. Things are not lost. Send your two amigos out to get the answers you need, and you work to do your part by doing some searches on Google for possible answers too. Stay with it until you find the answers you need, and everything will be just fine. This day can still be extremely profitable because of the things you're going to learn. Stay with it. Just do it. So, I think the tool of success that can be forged out of this kind of challenge and supposed failure or struggle is what I'm going to call the power of the tongue tool. Always, always, always speak what you want, and never, 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 never speak what you don't want. Why would you? Think what you want and don't let your judge or conscious mind sabotage you. I've talked about this mentality before. Listen to your prosecutor and your gatekeeper. Send them out to get support materials for what you want to have done positively and how positively, and then listen to them when they come back with evidence and statements of power that tell you, you can do this. Think what you want, always speak what you want, and never think or speak what you don't want. The next question is, what was the biggest success that you had today? Well, my biggest success today was fixing lesson 7 span slides, of course, because I did. Even with all of the roadblocks and the struggles that came at me today, I never quit. I always work until the job is done. Those two affirmations are two of my many affirmations I speak out loud to myself every morning in my Win the Morning, Win the Day routine. And boy, did they come through for me today. Those affirmations are proof of the fact that the Win the Morning, Win the Day routine is incredibly powerful, and that it will in fact produce the right kind of thoughts and thinking that make positive things happen. Croy's next question he asked was, what's the one thing you did that made you feel successful today, Marty? Well, the fact is that all of these principles and laws that I'm trying to make part of my daily life and thinking are in fact bringing about these kind of positive, highly productive results, especially since they're being bombarded by all of these negative circumstances. It's so motivating, and it generates a feeling of real accomplishment in me. And that drives me to keep doing it and doing more. The next question is, what movies did you watch in your mind today, Marty? Did you make time for them? Well, thank goodness for my Win the Morning, Win the Day routine, where in my mindfulness time, I watch my Why movie, my Vision movie, my Let's Start Coaching movie, my Insights and More movie, my Facebook Messengers group Living the Dream Mastermind movie now. The bottom line is that by going to the movies this morning, like I do every morning now, I was so much more prepared for the kind of IEDs and unexpected circumstances that came at me this morning. Had I not kept my Winners Win the Morning, Win the Day routine habit up, my day would have been a much different kind of day today, for sure. My go to the movies habit and enjoying my quiet mindfulness time this morning armed me with power to stay strong, and certainly played a role in preparing my mind to think the right kind of thoughts, the kind of thoughts that brought about positive, empowering feelings which moved me into action, and that action resulted in very positive, productive results. In short, my CT-FAR, or my circumstance, thoughts, feelings, actions, results model of thinking. It really, really does work. Bam! Next, Croy asks you to rate your day's effort. I gave today another one of those rare 10s because I truly worked and thought and acted at the speed of 10 all day long. The next question is, if this was the only thing you get done tomorrow, but you'd still feel like a success even if it goes sideways, what would that one thing be? Now put it into a power statement for tomorrow. Well, because today was so challenging, I had to put today's power statement on for tomorrow. And that says I'm going to record lesson 8. Of course, I'll have a few additional tasks of lesser importance to do, but that's what I'm committed to get done tomorrow. Record lesson 8. Okay, let's end the day strong. Here's what I'm grateful for today. First of all, I'm grateful for my letter openers. These right here. Zips. I say that because I got them, I think, some time ago when I loaded up on pens and pencils and things that I showed the other day and rubber bands. I think I got those two things there, and I can't remember. I've had them for years. For years, I would just use my fingers to open up my mail and tear it and blow on that kind of thing, and I often would cut myself on my hands. So finally I had it with this being short of pens and pencils and cutting my hand open by trying to open my mail. So I stopped procrastinating and I went and got what I wanted and needed. And like I said, I never had to go and get pens or supplies or anything like that. I just checked my mail just like that. Been doing that for years. Next, I'm grateful for the law of financial respectability. What does that mean? Many otherwise good men and women allow success to elude them because they lack financial respectability. It is not uncommon to see men and women who are well developed in other parts of their personalities, but who lack good financial sense. In human relations, few qualities make one so vulnerable to defeat as the quality of not knowing how to handle oneself financially. One may be weak in some parts of his or her personality without interfering with the success in other areas, but one who is financially insecure, especially in their head, have a difficult time in most other areas of their life. Someone of importance once said, "I am not sure just what the unpardonable sin is, but I believe it's the disposition to postpone and evade the payment of one's bills." End quote. In my way of thinking, few things could be more helpful in developing our morality, our citizenship, and our own morale than sound financial maturity. If I could answer the question about you, how old are you financially? I could foretell much of your future. All of us should review our financial habits so that we don't hold ourselves back without even knowing what's happening. Let me share 8 suggestions that, if followed, we can enjoy financial maturity from following the laws of financial respectability. First, develop the habit of paying promptly for what you get. In other words, pay your bills now. Remember that it is dangerous to borrow from friends and family. Number 3, develop financial integrity. Don't welch on your word. Keep your word when it comes to money. 4th, build a financial reserve. 5th, have adequate life insurance protection. 6th, use personal credit wisely. And if you have credit cards, great, but if you do and you don't have to use them, don't use them. 7th, develop a sense of community responsibility, meaning the person who feels the world owes them a living always has an unhappy time trying to collect it. And 8th, establish financial respectability at home. In other words, continually check yourself on how you're personally doing and how you're handling your finances at home, especially your conversation over money with your spouse. And lastly, I'm grateful for an iPad program my wife bought me. It's called Procreate. Funny name, isn't it? But it has a library of several beautiful pictures that are like just beautiful paintings. And they're like color by number pictures you've all seen. And they have all these little pieces to it with little numbers in it. With the iPad pen, I'm going to pretend this is a pen, you just go boop, 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 of that same number. And that's because you've clicked on a color with that number and go looking for those numbers and you touch them. And as you touch all of the same section with the same number as the colored number you're working on, it all fills in with that color. Once you finish going through the entire row of colors and their numbers, the picture is done and it's gorgeous. It's really a tool of relaxation, which helps break up the monotony of what we're going through, of being stuck in our homes, so we don't go stir crazy. You might check into that. Procreation is just one program I have on my iPad. I also have YouTube, Google, SoPlay, Amazon Prime, and on and on and on. So there's just no way to get bored with all the technological devices we have. And we have so many available to us, right? So thank you, sweetheart. That's a very nice gift. Anyway, that's it. Another day of living the dream, even with the good, the bad, and today's ugly. But most goodly and good was my day. Tomorrow night, I'll be right here at this laptop. Giving my spiel, while at the same time I'll be sharing the story of my day and effort. And so until then, I'll be dreaming of me living the dream, and actually spending tomorrow living the dream, and then reporting once again on how my day of living the dream went. So you do the same. Good night, everyone. I wish you continued success.